Hello, true believers. It's time for another episode of Matt's Comic Reviews. And we'll have some of that. And we'll talk some more about what's coming up on the channel after this.
Coming out!
So, yes, we're back now. We have a new era in X-Men coming out now. Of course, the old school for mutants, Xavier School for Mutants, is no more. But now we have X-Men United #1, and we're introduced to a place called Gray Matter Lane. Now, the question I asked in the thumbnail is Gray Matter Lane a new beginning for the X-Men, or is this just another false start? I don't know. Is this where we pick it up? What do you think's going to? What do we think is going to happen for the future of the mutants in the Marvel comic book universe? And there's a lot of controversy about it, a lot of people. But I will say this about it: I think maybe they righted the ship a little bit. Maybe we still got Jed MacKay and Gail Simone on Uncanny X-Men and X-Men respectively. Of course, we do always have a lot of like X-Force and all this stuff that we probably don't need, and it could be argued that we don't need all those books. But I will say this about after this last X-Mutant event they had, which wasn't that great, honestly. I tried to read it, I couldn't get into it, and I'm a big mutant guy, and I couldn't get into it. So I don't know what that says about that. But I will say this: ever since that event ended, X-Men and Uncanny X-Men have been better than they ever were before. At least this new iteration of it. You know what I'm saying? So we got that going for us. I've really liked what's been going on in Uncanny X-Men and X-Men. So, and I like Jed MacKay anyway. So there's that. But anyway, so we got X-Men United #1. So we find out when we open this book here, we got Emma Frost is talking about she's psychically talking to everybody because she's a psychic mutant with psychic powers. Only rival to Professor X. And she's telling them it's time to start Gray Matter Lane. Gray Matter Lane is actually not an actual physical place. It's like a metaphysical place she's created with her mind. And all these doors open, and all the mutants go through, to meet there. So she's built this whole world. It's like a transcendental place or something. It's like a psychic construct, if you will. So anyway, so all the mutants are meeting together because they want to have a safe place for these new mutants that don't know, are so unsure about their powers, don't know how to defend themselves, because it's still dangerous in this world, obviously, to be a mutant. Everybody hates the mutants, usually not the superhumans for some reason, but always the mutants are the scapegoat for every damn thing coming and going. That's how it's always been in the MCU. Now, this book is written by Eve L. Hewing. The artist is Thiago Palma, and the color artist is Brian Reber. Letter is BC's Joe Sabino, and the cover artist for this book is Stefano Caselli, and Federico Bleak. And there's another one that goes with this. It's like a connecting they made for issue 1, which I don't know why they do issue 1. They could have just had it for issue 2. But anyway, so there's that. It's pretty good art on the inside of it. So we get in their meeting, and Emma Frost is saying that her and her brother Axo were the one that created this, and they made some safeguards for everybody, so they wouldn't have a problem like they've had before with them rounding up mutants. They took over Professor Xavier's mansion. They were capturing mutants and trying to use them for their own evil ends, or just trying to destroy the mutants and all that. But of course, the buzzkill Scott Summers shows up, and he's got reservations about this thing. He said, "I think this is a bad idea. This is dangerous. Every time we get all these people together, it's not a good idea." Emma Frost says, "Look, ever since Krakoa, we've all been fragmented, kind of rudderless, without a home. I think this is a way to bring all the mutants together, and maybe, for a chance for these mutants to have a place they can call home, even if it is in their mind. It's not really in a real place, so we're safe here. Me and Axo," Emma says, "me and Axo have put all these safeguards in where nobody can get in." And but Scott's not hearing none of it because he's Slim's as Logan calls him, Slim. He's kind of a whiny little, sometimes. And even Kitty's trying to tell him, "Look, we need help. You need to stay here." He storms off. He doesn't want no part of it. Well, we go on in here, and it's going to have different curriculum. they talked to the curriculum here a minute ago. It was here we go. Prodigy, the meeting Prodigy says we're going to have combat strategy with Laura Linney and Logan. Co-teaching that. Mutant anatomy will be taught by Hank McCoy. And the principles of teamwork and leadership with Storm. And then the history and philosophy with Magneto. And so, but of course, like I said, Scott doesn't want to do it. And Rogue points out that it may not be the outside people he don't trust. He doesn't trust all of his fellow mutants and X-Men anymore. And Scott, I think also, so they have them do a little training at the new Danger Room. So it comes on and they find another a new mutant. Right here we introduced her. They got a thing called it's not Cerebro, but it's called the empathy engine, and Axo is the one that runs it, and he can detect when mutants are in distress or in need of help, so they go wherever they want. So they send a team of them to France, and we meet this young lady. This young lady here named Mariama Lachance in France. And they recruit her to be a student. So they go back to Axo and I think it's Kitty Pryde and somebody else. I can't remember her name. They go to Variety HQ, which is Sinister's HQ, to get some stuff back. This is where Axo was escaped from. He was tortured by Mr. Sinister, because Mr. Sinister is a real piece of crap. He's a real piece of work. He likes to genetically engineer mutants, clone them, do all kinds of horrible experiments on them, Mr. Sinister type stuff. So they go back, and there's some kind of disturbance. And Kitty Pryde doesn't really tell them what's going on, say what's going on here. But they're like, oh, crap. So they're there, and they get alerted to something. And so anyway, they found that there was a clone of Lockheed. So we get a new Lockheed, which is very cool. We got Kitty back, Shadowcat, who's one of my favorite X-Men, by the way, X-Women. But anyway, they had a little mishap in the Danger Room with what's his name, Wolf Cub. He kind of went feral on the one of the students because somebody got cut in training in the Danger Room. So, and Wolverine's kind of like, well, honestly, maybe it's a good thing. Scare some of them, knock them down a peg. You know how Wolverine, Logan really he's like, rub some dirt on it. You'll be all right. But anyway, we go back to Alaska where X-Men, the regular X-Men team, the adjectiveless X-Men team, minus the uncanny, still has a face. And you see Scott Summers, Cyclops, and Glob talking. And Scott Summers is like, I don't like this. I'm going to do whatever I can to stop it. And he says, and he goes, there we go. And then, I like what Glob says. I don't get it. He says, I don't understand. Emma and Kitty are intransient. He goes, meaning they just don't automatically do what you say. That's right. See, the thing is with Scott Summers, if you're not paying attention and you're not doing what he wants you to do, then you're doing the wrong thing. That's the way he's always been. That's the way he's probably always going to be. This man's never changed in over 40 years. Let's face it. Okay. Maybe I didn't mean this. Not trying to turn into a Cyclops Scott Summers hate fest, because he is a pretty good leader sometimes. But sometimes he gets in his head a little too much and he goes off pouting. I don't like that. So, but it's a business as usual for Scott. But he's like, he says, I'm not going to dignify that with a response because Glob's trying to talk him down. He goes, the point is I'm handling it. And Glob's like, what do you mean you're handling it? And I won't say the last page, but he does something a little rash is all I'll say. I will say this about this. It's an introductory issue, so we're probably just kind of they're kind of laying out the plot a little bit. But I definitely think it's worth picking up issue 2. So, and I also, if you're a big mutant fan, I think I would recommend it too. Okay. Now I will say this. There's a lot of people, they already have a mental block to anything mutant anymore because they think Marvel's done this and that and they're doing bad things or blah, 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 whatever. But I will tell you right now, give it a chance. It's especially if you're an X-Men fan, there's some people I will never be able to change their mind about what's going on at Marvel right now, but I really do think they're trying to turn a corner here. But I know there's some people out there that I'll never be able to convince. But anyway, I recommend it, especially for mutant fans. I think it's pretty good. It's not better than I just did a review of Daredevil. I don't think it's as good as that. But this is more like they're really more introductory stuff. But I'm gonna give it a chance. And if I'll let you know what I think of issue 2 when it comes out. But for now, I'm intrigued. I think it's a pretty cool concept. Having school in their mind is like a psychic projection place. And we got all these different personalities. You know, I always have trouble with all these different personalities coming together in the X-Men. That's what it's all about. But anyway, also I want to say that we have some great stuff coming up. We'll be reviewing. I'm going to have an interview on Comic Conversations this upcoming week with Shags Comics, who's got a big presence on Instagram. He does claim sale stuff, and we're going to have an interesting conversation. I want to ask him. He'll be at Heroes Con, and I want to ask him about this scooter race that he wants to do with like the e-scooters around Charlotte. So we'll talk some about that. Maybe I can get on my electric wheelchair and maybe they'll let me in on it. He said he wants to make sure it's a little street legal before he lets me in the race. But anyway, that's interesting. We'll talk about that, comics, life in general, movies, whatever we feel like. But what I'm trying to tell you is the reason I'm telling you about this right now is he's going to be doing a giveaway. He's going to be giving away 4 books. One of them signed by an Eternals book signed by Todd Knock. So stay tuned for that one live Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Maybe you'll win some free books with one of them signed by Todd Knock. Who knows? You don't know if you don't try to enter it, right? But anyway, thanks for watching my review video. There'll be more review videos coming up. I think the next one I'm going to be reviewing is Bizarro Year None, written by Kevin Smith and Eric Carrasco. So stay tuned for that. That'll be next week, I think. But anyway, like I said, check this out, especially if you're an X-Men fan. But until next time, true believers, Excelsior!
Come, son of Jarrell! Kneel before Zod! Snoochie boochies.